Here at Mattari today.
Yes, sir.
Setting the stage for a killer 2024. Talk about everywhere that Ignition is going in this upcoming year. Talk about some of the cool experiences we had this past year. Just want to give you a little backstory on what we're all about and where we're going. So good stuff. We got Teaspoon Willie over here. Hey, Rachel. Tony.
Yes, sir.
Right. We got Kyle, photo boy over here.
Big.
And we got Dan and Pika on the cameras behind the scenes.
What's up?
What's up?
You'll see them.
And then Mia the model over there sitting in the background. She's just chilling. We gotta have the princess over there with us too.
Yeah.
So killing it. Yeah. So it was a killer year this past year. Did a lot of traveling together.
So much.
Tons.
I think one of the coolest things for most of us, we talk about Ireland, right? Ireland was just great. Shout out to RJ and Jimmy, LZ, and all the boys for having us be a part of that. That was a killer opportunity for the brand.
And it was worth it.
Dude, it was literally like a different version of Japan. It was wild. Like, you wouldn't even think of it.
Yeah.
Like,
And it was
little
most
Ireland.
of our first time flying internationally. I know it was my
that's
first
it.
time, and it was
Oh,
your
it was?
first time, Kyle, right?
Yeah.
Mia, Dan,
Yeah,
first time flying
That doesn't
international
count.
to
Yeah,
Ireland,
it's not
right? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I think for me it was great because we took all these guys overseas and never met their parents or anything.
It
They're
was
like,
the
yeah,
first
hey, we're
time
gonna take
Jay
your
met-
kids over out of the country, but
The first
Didn't
time
even
Jay
ask.
met any of them was
don't worry
landing at the
about. There's no
airport.
human trafficking going
Yeah.
on here.
We're not stealing your kids.
We're not
Yeah.
stealing your kids. They're too old.
We're just gonna keep them in a house with us for a week. Don't worry about it.
Don't you worry about it. That's good. We put them to work.
I'm sure they'll check in.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, that was a killer experience. I mean, so when Rachel and I were strategizing the 2023 season back
Last
right around
December.
now, right? You know,
It was
just-
like December 10th or December 14th. I remember the conversation, and we just laid it out. And I said, "Man, I don't know how we're gonna do this, but let's go." It covered media and everything, and I am not a media person.
yeah, it was funny because we were like, all right, we're gonna make a collection of media content everywhere we go. Everyone was saying, you know, you can use your iPhone. iPhones are so
Yeah.
good these days, right? You can collect content. So we're like, all right, we're gonna build a vault, and we're gonna just everywhere we go, we're gonna make content. And I remember our Dropbox, she would just keep dropping photos and videos into it. And this was what, April, probably early April that started. And the next thing you know, we're like, I don't even know what to do with all this stuff. What do we do with it?
We actually don't
you
have
know?
time to even do anything with it.
Yeah, it was crazy, you know. So then we go to the Yukon show, right, which was an absolute rain festival,
That was
but
terrible.
That was literally the
Terrible.
only car show I've ever been to
In the rain.
in the rain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I was just like, okay, I'll go.
yeah, and it wasn't like rain; it was downpour.
It was bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
So they usually get 3,000 cars to that show. I think they told me they had 400-ish
Yeah.
for, which shout out to everybody who came out
In
to
the rain
support
like
the
that.
boys, right?
Yeah.
And like we said, you know, these guys are our boys. We're gonna go support them
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. We've got the big tent set up, and of course that's where everyone hung out, right? We had the couches, and thank God we had all that stuff. It worked
Yeah.
out good. And then Brendan brought his R32,
Mm-hmm.
which won an award, right? Best JDM
Yeah.
for the
It did.
show,
Yeah.
as it should.
Yeah.
And he was showcasing some new parts that he had just put on the car,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And then Kyle came over and shot an
We brought
after
like 15
movie.
people from Rhode Island in the rain. They all thought we were crazy going there, but we went with the plan.
Yeah,
You sure did.
Yeah, it worked out good. And so Kyle shot killer content with his boys, and that caught the eye of
Power
Rachel.
of social media.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and
Caught my eye. Brendan shared it, and I was like, man, I don't know. The vibe of this kid, we have to reach out. I sent the video to Jay, and I was like, you have to reach out to him, like now, like today.
He did. It
Yeah,
was, I was
today.
Sitting in Chick-fil-A drive-thru,
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, Ignition Speed. I remember meeting him a few years ago.
yeah, I mean, it's just funny how small that world is, and you know, in order to, you know, connect with people, you have to be out in the public, right? And Corey and the boys, they crush it every year. So for them to have to deal with bad weather, we were like, listen, at a minimum, we're going to go support it. So Mattari and Ridium Wars, all those guys, they still came out and supported just like us. And
You guys
and,
were literally leaving for Japan, right?
yeah, you
Yeah,
were.
the next day we had a super early flight. Well, right after Yukon, we ended up driving to JFK or to New York, and we had to spend the night. And we got into traffic and everything, and then we were leaving for Japan the next morning, 7 a.m. flight.
That's crazy.
14 hours.
Didn't DJ sleep in a tub that night?
He did. Damn, he did. Oh,
Slept in a tub, right?
So
That's
we
all
were
you guys
supposed to
combined.
get. It was supposed to be 3 beds and 2 rooms. We ended up getting a 1 twin bed.
Yeah.
That was it because we got there so late. DJ ended up sleeping in the tub. And Johnny has such anxiety. He was literally sleeping like this on a chair. And then Brennan and I, we spooned each other. So.
Poking away.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not the first time. So.
Okay, no.
Not the first time.
It's not the last time
Probably
either.
not. Well, maybe.
Yeah, that was a hell of a trip for you guys too,
Oh, big
man.
time,
Just
big time.
seeing what was going on there. Obviously, we have plans to head over with you guys here in the future. We have an announcement coming up, which is going to delay our opportunity to go to Japan. We were going to try to go in the spring, but that's going to be delayed for a much bigger purpose, which we'll share with you here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, so that just kind of led us into the beginning of the year, right? And we obviously had a situation where Rob, who's been a big part of our media crew for since the beginning of Ignition, he had something happen to him, which unfortunately made it impossible for him to continue to shoot content, not only for us, but during his FD travels and all the big drift events. So Rachel and I were figuring out, all right, how are we going to capture all of this content and be effective with what we're doing at the booth, right? As you guys all know, the booth takes a ton of effort, right? There's a lot of moving parts in
Make
it.
it look easy, bro.
Make it look easy.
That's
yeah,
what I
yeah.
said. I was like, man, you would just think that it's
We got a
just
whole
a regular
crew.
booth, and then
Yeah.
the amount of work these guys put in. I'm like, dang.
Yeah,
When I tell
yeah.
people like, oh, it's just the 2 of us, they're like, no way.
Yeah.
There's a
'Cause
lot
it
more.
was
You
just the
can't
2 of
just
us,
like
you know?
it's different. Just like setting up a table and having like a little tent or something. But the way you guys execute it and everything, you have a plan. Works out perfect every single time.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time in the winter, right, building the carts. And we were building the carts in my kitchen, in my living room, in my garage, in the porch. I mean, they were everywhere, and I think overall they were well executed. Willie obviously contributed to the enhancement of those carts later on in the year, and we've got 2 new enhancements that Willie doesn't know about yet that we're going to add. So as soon as he's done taking vacation and comes back to hanging, we'll.
He actually just flew in for the podcast.
Flew in.
He was
Thank
just
you
in,
for
he was just in,
making,
he was just in
guest
Paris
appearance
doing a
here.
photo shoot
Yeah.
or something. Yeah. But yeah, as soon as he's back, we'll get him to work on doing that with us. So just little stuff, but it's always we're always changing it, always enhancing it, trying to make the experience better for all the people who come and support us. It's all about the community, and that's what makes it work. So yeah, so I mean, we go to Yukon, right, and then tap into Kyle, send him a DM, and he shows up to the C3 show, which again was in the rain.
With an army.
Yeah.
I did not think you were coming with all these people, and I was like, man, he brought all of Rhode Island with him.
He
As soon as
did.
they found out I was going to a show
Yeah.
in Connecticut, they're like, oh, can we come? I'm like,
Yeah.
sure, come support.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
didn't know what I was going for or any of that. They just thought I was going to a show.
Yeah, it was wild. We're like,
I don't think Pika was with me that day.
I don't think so. Pika missed that one.
He was working
Yeah.
on, I think it was Tristan's car, something with the turbo. But you came to Broke East, which was the first meet. We all worked together as a trio.
Is that your first one? Was Brook East?
I think so.
No, what was
Well, that was only 2 weeks later anyway,
Yeah,
so it's
it was-
really not like it was
Yeah,
that
it's not big
far
deal.
out.
East and like Wicked
Yeah.
Big. We were at Stafford like 2 weeks in a row, I think.
Yeah,
Well,
within a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, within a month.
the
Cause
Felt
first time I
2
met you guys was when Kyle was like
Oh no,
doing media
E-Town,
that day.
English Town.
Oh, was
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Tour.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You
That's
drove
right.
down
That was in
that day.
between.
It was C3 or UC3, the other one, not the first one,
UC, were you at UC3?
the C3 one.
Oh, C3.
Oh, then
That
he
would've
did
been
come
the
because that's
first
when.
one.
Yeah, that would have been the
That
first
was
one.
you guys
before.
came.
No, I went to UC3. Sorry.
But not.
Oh.
But you didn't meet us yet.
Yeah,
That was,
That's-
remember the first day you did media for them, like you're.
that was
filming them?
C3.
That was C3.
C3 with Aaron.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and Jack was
I went to
okay.
C3. I didn't go to UC3.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
So it was that.
So yeah, so he did come and meet up with us, and so one of the more
So many
iconic
events.
photos that
So
we
many.
have of Kyle was that day at C3, right? Taking a photo in front of the booth. I think you took that, right, Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Portraits.
I'll tell you what,
he's
me
doing the
and-
portraits.
You know, you gave Kyle the directive to film me and Felicity, and me and Felicity are just walking and talking, and Kyle's going all around us, right? But we're not paying attention to what Kyle's
And then
doing,
Dan's
and I'm
taking
looking at
photos.
Felicity, and I'm like, why is the crowd opening up? What's going
'Cause they
on?
know we're filming.
Yeah, it just literally was like,
I think we're the only ones really like walking around that day filming
Yeah.
stuff like that too.
yeah.
Which that first video, that was a fun one.
I think the hard part about C3 too was we wanted to unveil the carts, but it also was raining, but not
Yeah.
badly. So we sort of took it out, got some content, put them away because we didn't want anything to happen to them. We really wanted that to be in a sunny environment. But yeah, Kyle shows up with an army of people, which 90% of those people have stayed with us throughout. I mean, there's a couple who've even come periodically, but not consistently to all the events. But I'd say 90% of people came to almost all the events, stayed with us at the Airbnbs, which clearly are the most exciting and fun experiences that everybody had for sure over the course of the year, right?
Yep.
So we end up building out this media team, which has just laid the foundation for so much of the cool exposure that we've had in 2023 and the impression that the brand is making. I mean, clearly we've gone to a lot of different events, which obviously helps, but to be able to carry that forward with content ongoing, I mean, I don't know how big our library is, but it is big at this point, right? We've got content for a couple years, I would
amount
expect.
of content you guys do.
And I'll tell you, that original Dropbox that we created is still untouched. It's still
Still
there.
untouched to this day.
It has content of me working on my Subi, and
Yeah, there's nothing.
it's just there.
We both
you know?
agree. There's nothing good
Yeah.
in there. Yeah. That's amateur hour right there.
Yeah.
That's us trying to, But hey, you know what? We had a game plan, and that's what we were going to do. And we're fortunate to have this group of people
Yeah, definitely.
run content and media. The Ignition Speed media team is the finest media team around. No
Hands
question.
down.
Hands down. So it's just made for a great year and set the stage for a lot of really cool things that we're going to do here in 2024. We've done some cool, fun collabs with Tony and Brendan and all the boys, right? So we went to DOD, skip ahead a little bit. We go to DOD at the end of the season, and
Yep.
Tony brings all the late notice boys down, and I
Kill
think to
it.
to a man, they all were like, "Oh yeah, this is the event, right?" So, and we agree with that.
Yep. Jumping ahead, it's literally equivalent. We'll talk about it more, but it's literally equivalent to Japan's episode. Like, hands down, craziest event. You see a bunch of people, a bunch of drivers from Instagram, social media, get to meet up with everybody, and it was such a good time. So glad I was out there.
We were talking about this the other day. We're like, we'll probably have 30, 40 people go with us.
Oh
next year.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it'll be monster.
Yeah, like
No
I tell
doubt.
you, when it's worth it. Like, it's freaking nuts. Like, everybody's so relaxed and chill too.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Because
that was a big
there's
thing.
unlimited seat time,
Yeah.
so there's no need to get all like, I gotta hurry up and get over here or there.
Yep. Everybody's like the older crowd and everything. They're just like, yeah, go ahead. You
Yeah.
spawn out, keep going.
Let's go.
Do it again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What I found really fun about it as a whole was you could test yourself, right? There was no, you're limited to this spot. Give it a go. See what you can do, right? No, obviously, main course requires more horsepower, right? Unless it was raining. Like we were talking about it with Ryan, with RZ, we probably could have run main course in the morning on Sunday because it was so wet.
Yeah.
But by the time it dried up, there was no way we're going to do it. But with the new car that we have, we could probably do it, right?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Big time.
Right?
Big time. Yep.
So we'll see. But I know Willie had a good time doing that. Smiles for
You had a
days over
ton
there.
of seat time, right?
Which one are we talking about?
Directors of December.
Ivana.
Oh, damn, we skipped way ahead.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. We did that. We did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that was fun. That was definitely fun.
That dude smiled the entire
The
weekend.
Yeah.
entire weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Genesis was just taking a beating.
Handled it well too,
I
right?
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went on courses I shouldn't be on. I don't care.
All right.
It was.
You had the opportunity though.
It was awesome. The
Yeah.
opportunity was
Yep.
definitely there, and I definitely took full advantage of it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
cool thing about Drifters of December is you could test your ability and then kind of level up too.
Yeah.
It made you level up super quick too, because
Yeah.
it's not like, okay, you're going onto a skid pad and then you have to like just stay on the skid pad. Their skid pad was actually a layout,
Yeah.
and that layout like pushed you right away to advance to the next course.
Right.
And you're literally skipping events like months of advance.
Right.
Like,
The
it's-
All in one.
the entry for that skid pad was
Third gear.
50
Yeah.
to 70 miles an hour, depending
Yeah.
on the car you're driving.
Right.
And because it was
Yeah,
such
it was
a
nuts.
big,
It was a big
corner,
run-up.
Yep.
you could probably carry that 70 through
Yeah.
if you had a high
Yeah.
horsepower car. You
It
know.
definitely was hitting like 65.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
You had
so
to.
here you are, right? You're a beginner like Patrick, right? He's first time going on there, full send, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just go for it, figure it out. And I think the way they structure it is really cool. You made this point before, which is all these guys who've been categorized, and it's normal to have categories based on limited track layouts, right? If you have
Yep.
single track layouts, you have to limit the number of people because otherwise, you're going to have more delays than you're going to have activity. So there's nothing wrong with that structure, but when you have so much terrain to choose from, none of that matters,
Yeah.
right? And you can spread out the people. I think for all of us, everyone here, I know I can say this for some of the boys, late notice boys, hot lapping. If everyone was to say what was my favorite part, it was hot lapping.
Big
Yeah.
time.
Right?
Big
Everyone
time.
said the same thing. Patrick would say he liked hot lapping, but linking Jefferson for him
Yeah.
was like
Oh,
a big
sure.
deal because that was
Yeah.
a big course, right? So he liked hot lapping. I liked hot lapping more. I thought that was
Yes.
was super cool. Having Ryan up on my door, having
Yeah.
you come up on the door, that was super cool because that's the first time we've done that
Yep.
as a group. And to only do that after what? 6 weeks of drifting together ever is
I know.
kind of cool. And I know like
That was probably the biggest late notice tandem too,
Oh,
right?
it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah.
It was. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had. I think
it was like
6 cars.
five,
Yeah,
right?
5 or
Five,
6
six?
cars at once.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
Shit.
Yep. Nuts.
Yeah.
I just love the consistency of it.
Mm-hmm.
You literally, you have to learn it. If you don't learn it, either you're gonna go off track or somebody's gonna hit.
And that's a good thing
Oh,
too
yeah.
because
So
it
you have to
pushes you.
keep
Yeah.
going.
Because it's like, okay, I need to do it. If not, I'm
Exactly.
gonna get crushed or I'm gonna
Yep.
mess up somebody
And then
else.
once
So
you
it's like
find the rhythm,
it literally
you just
forces you.
literally the extension of the drift is just unlimited. You can just keep going.
If
Yeah.
not,
Keep
you're gonna
going.
go.
Keep
Yeet.
going.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's yeet
Yep.
or be yeeted.
I've had
One or
so
the
many
other.
people up to my door, and I'm just like, holy fuck.
Holy
Yeah.
shit, mess up. Don't mess up.
Yeah.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think in our YouTube video, it was great when Dan asked you about like what you enjoyed, and you were like hot lapping. He goes, I went a few times, and I finally said to the guy, "Can I keep going?" And he's like, "Yeah, I could keep going." And I was like, "Holy shit, I
I
can
literally
keep going."
was getting off every 2 laps
you
I
weren't
was
sure?
used to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because that's how the other places were.
Yeah,
And I was just like looking at everybody still going, and I asked the guy, I was like, "Can I just keep going?" He's like, "Yeah, bro, what are you doing?" like, what?
It was so
Yeah.
nice, man. Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah."
So chill.
it was cool. So sort of jumping back to the beginning part of the year, and I think touching on that was just big because it was just. I mean, it was
a good
month,
event,
just a
yeah.
little more than a month ago that happened, but. I think we all agree that Pocono was
Killer.
for us. That was
Amazing.
So fun.
beginning kind of sort of beginning part of the year, and we all went. It was the first time we all stayed in an Airbnb together.
Massively.
Massively had a great time. Everyone getting to know each other, cooking food. Ryan came over with his boys, brought some food from Virginia.
Damn,
and-
yeah.
right?
Shout out to Ryan. That was
That
awesome.
was
I did a little
Chicken was so
bartending.
good, yep.
Practiced a little bartending skills. Some people thought it was like paint thinner. I thought it was fine.
Yeah. I remember standing on the back porch with the guys, Ryan's
all-
friends,
yeah.
and they were like, "This shit's strong."
I was like, mine's stronger. What are you talking about?
Right? Yeah, so Ryan's got some cool news. He just bought a new car, and he just sent
did.
me photos
He sent me
with the new motor in it. So
Nice.
he's prepping that for Grid Life.
Mm-hmm.
The plan is to do as many of the Grid Life festival events this year with that car. So we're stoked to have him in the fold with us as well, which is killer. He's such a killer driver. So it's awesome, right? So Pocono, we all got to know each other, spend some time together, do a lot of bonding, obviously.
where we got Braden into.
Got Braden.
Yeah,
too.
that's true. This
That was the first
time,
event
right?
he was at with us.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah.
he's still with us now.
Yep.
He gained the last slot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
No, Colin.
Yep.
Oh, that was Colin
Colin
that got
did,
the last
yeah.
slot?
Colin was Clean Culture New York almost in
Yeah.
end of August that he didn't come along till.
Oh, okay.
Colin's the
Yeah.
F and G right now, so
Yeah.
until we get somebody new, he's
He's
the
it.
F and G.
Speaking of Colin, he's got his Miata. I've been liking his reels that he's been posting with it.
Yeah, cool. We gotta have him do the squat,
Yeah.
the Tony squat. Yeah, hell yeah, let's go. I actually skipped over the LZ event, right? I mean, shoot, that was a big
The
one
Jersey
for
one?
us as
Yeah.
the Jersey one.
I'd say that was like the real debut of our booth as like a whole to a
It
scale
was.
of people.
Yeah. And what was cool about that for me was that we were able to get the Driven to Cure car out with us.
Yeah, it was
We were right in the
Unfortunately-
mix of everything too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the last time that will happen. They've kind of gone in a little different direction, and which is understandable, right? The patriarch of the family is lost to cancer, the son is lost to cancer. For them to try to figure out what they want to be involved with totally makes sense. It was run by the family, and two of the most important contributors to that have since passed. So no miss or ill will about that. But to have that car there at the booth at the
Just killing
LZ
it.
event, especially with Evan Shanks there and TJ,
Oh,
who
yeah.
were friends with those guys, which was just really, really special to have them come by and see the car, and it was just very, very cool. So good event. Clearly, they did a great job with the
Yeah.
whole world tour.
That was the first one of the world tour, right?
It
Yeah.
was,
First one, yeah.
Yeah, they did the I think they called it Invitational last year. So Patrick and I went with the booth there last year. It was just Patrick, myself, and his buddy Chris in 2022. That was sort of a trial run, and that was actually the first stop for Drift Week 4. I think it was Drift Week 4.
Okay.
No, 5. It was Drift Week 5 because that was the East Coast one that came to Thompson. So that was the first stop on Drift Week 5. And then Dave from Drift Games was there emceeing it. And that was really cool event in 2022. And clearly they liked the way that went.
Yep.
So they created the World Tour in 23, which, obviously we went to 2 of the 4 events.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, I know the schedule hasn't come out for this year, but we're waiting. We're waiting patiently to see what it looks like, and we'll make sure we clear the calendar and get over
Go
there,
to them.
right? So I mean, just so much good stuff. Just-
TogeCon, that was one of the highlights.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Shout
For you,
out
that was
Sasha,
big, huh?
Caleb,
Yeah.
Where was that at again?
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
It seems like it's very like what goes on in Arkansas, but it's the
Yeah,
coolest
yeah, yeah.
thing ever.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like imagine Gatlinburg, but instead of like
Yeah, the vibes
slammed
are really
cars completely,
sick.
it's more about the driving and of JDM cars entirely.
Okay.
Yeah, they just posted that they had 7,000-8,000 people attend
At
it,
the show.
which is good. And
Yeah.
the vendor spots which were inside was busy all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't even really go to vend. Sasha printed a run for us, and he's like, "Why don't you set up a tent and see if you can sell stuff?" And
And-
I'm glad we did, because we
Yeah,
ended
yeah,
up
yeah.
selling a bunch of stuff because people were amped that we came 1,600 miles to go to it. And,
22-hour drive
22-hour
Oh
drive.
boy. Oh.
Yeah.
from Connecticut
it's
to
killer.
St. Louis in a
yeah,
day.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, we drove 18, 19 hours until I finally ran out of gas. So we figure if we're going to do it again, we'll leave a day earlier and have more
We'll plan it
drivers.
better.
Gas in your
Yeah.
tank or gas in Big Booty Judy?
No, gas in my tank.
Yeah.
Judy went through plenty of gas.
Judy
Yeah,
went through
I'm
plenty
sure.
of gas.
Plenty of diesel.
She's a thirsty girl.
She's a thirsty girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a beast though. She
She
gets
is.
the job done, man. She is awesome. That trip to DOD with the triple trailer.
Killer.
Yeah.
Shout out to Willie's boys at Town Fair for
Yeah,
getting
that day.
I know.
that within an
That
hour.
day.
Within an
Yeah.
hour of request. And then
Literally.
and then shout out to Wadman, of course, Brian, that's his trailer, and Nils for allowing us to take Brian's trailer. I guess we should put it that way.
Yeah.
For
But-
informing us about the trailer.
Yeah. So it worked out great because that thing served us very well. We left a car in West Virginia and brought a car back, so which we unveiled a
The
week or so ago on
Integi.
our YouTube channel. So we
You
got
guys
the-
are seeming like you like that.
yeah, hell yeah. We got the new endurance car, the track day car, autocross car to go with all the others. So which is super cool. So we jumping into 2024 heavy. Some super big news for us. We're going to be moving into a shop. More details to come. April 1st is the target date. A couple of things that are outside of
It
our
is around
control
the corner.
first to make that happen, but it's on could be May, but we think it's April.
Yeah.
At the rate, with the weather being what it is, they're building
It's all
that
good
building
stuff.
super fast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it should be done fast before April, I would bet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Weather's in the favor.
So a new shop for Ignition Speed, right? Shoot our
Yeah.
content, build our cars, and fulfill all of our
Should
apparel
make everything
orders.
better.
Should do an opening car meet there.
Let's go.
That's what we've spoke
plan
about
to.
that before.
Opening car meet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should.
We'll get some time to settle all our stuff in there, make it look nice, whatever.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Do an opening car meet.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to premiere like the 2023 after movie documentary at the shop with all the homies and everyone
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
We'll figure out how to do that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Sasha's gonna fly out and do a mural on the top
Oh,
3 feet of the
that's
whole
awesome.
border. So we'll be gonna paint it white and so super bright in there, black ceilings, and then Sasha will do a JDM themed mural on the top 3 feet. So that should look sick. Yeah, it should look really cool. And the property owner is gonna do some updates for us to, give us what we need for space utilization, because we have to be mindful of the warehouse side of things. We've got some pretty cool new collaborations coming out, which means we're going to need the warehouse space.
Yeah, we definitely need the real estate, more real estate than I think we originally anticipated, honestly.
I think so too.
Yeah.
We need to keep.
It's the same layout as you said, like Nils.
Yeah, so if you
Right.
bend to Nils' shop, it's
Okay.
a mirror of that.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
a flip flop of,
Yep.
of the way his is. Yeah.
Oh, so I can see you could take more of the garage space.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to take some
sure.
of that back in order
Yep.
to have enough space for the
Storing.
warehouse.
Yeah,
side
you'll
of
still
things.
have plenty though.
But we
That
also
place
want to
is
build
big.
in a content shot area so that the boys can shoot all the product content. We can
Yep.
shoot car photos as well,
Yeah.
video there. So we've got to be mindful of where we put the lifts, and we're going to get a couple of 4-post stackers and we'll have 1 2-post, work lift. But it'll be nice to have all the cars in one spot for a change.
And really start the build of our channel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a huge step forward, right? And we're making big progress. And we just announced our partnership with the Ultimate Drift Challenge out in Apple
Yes.
Valley, California last night. So
That's
Bobby
sick.
Loai and all
My
those
homie.
boys and Bailey, those guys are running a cool program that we're glad to be a part of. And so we're the title sponsor for that. And that was just announced yesterday. So really cool event structure, gives us West Coast presence, which is huge. Kyle's been working with a couple of collaborators out there to help support our efforts on the left coast, right?
The
There
left
you go.
coast.
Yeah. So it's
And for anyone who doesn't know who Bobby Loai or Bailey is, they are on Rudy Hansen's FD team. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And Rudy's moving up from Pro Spec. He was in the hunt. He was podium finisher for the Pro Spec Championship last year, and he won. I forget which event he won, but he won an event last year. He was in the points battle all season, and now he's making the move up to pro. So Bobby and Bailey are part of that program, and they're doing
Bob and Bailey
like a
out here.
let's go. They're doing like a grassroots comp 215 tire size. So
Oh, really?
any
Wow.
of us
Yeah.
could do that. Let's go. Let's get it.
Sick.
I've never wanted
Yeah.
to do comp. I just love the freestyle side
Yeah,
of
yeah,
drifting. But I'm like 215.
they're going
Yeah.
real grassroots.
Yeah.
They're not even doing cages for tandems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Wow.
sick.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Out at Apple Valley
Yeah,
in
yeah.
California.
So that's one of the first collaborations that we announced. We've got a really cool partnership with Mass Tuning. So my buddy Armin, who I've known for many years, have done instruction with him for his track days. We're going to do a new program that we're launching called Tenoshi Drift. And it's really based around our content development. So our boys, Kyle and Dan and some of our corporate partners, we can showcase a lot of those capabilities and features for a select audience of people. So it's not open to the public. We're not doing like a club. We're not a club. We're not creating this for everybody to register for, but select people get to come to this stuff. And there's been a lot of interest in it, which is good. We're going to try to do 7 to 8 of them across a couple of different venues. And Armin is super stoked with that. And then Armin and I are working with Subi Mods on a really cool project that's Subaru specific. So Rachel likes that, of course,
Love it.
and that
Big
should be
Subi girl.
cool. So that one looks like it'll be in September.
Just got my race seats. I'm going to delete the whole interior.
Yeah,
And just
yeah.
get rid of the back, sheet metal it, put a cage in there.
Yeah, she got some good seats too.
I
Those are
did.
nice.
I did. Some nice Corbos.
See, marketplace sometimes can have good
They
Yo,
do.
Facebook
Marketplace. Yeah.
A1.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
when it's not though, right?
Yeah,
Right. How many people did we get calls for stuff and
Yeah,
No,
unless
like,
you're trying to
no show.
sell something.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, is this
It's a
available?
runaround.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sometimes.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, selling is always a challenge. Buying is the easy part.
Yeah.
yeah,
Selling is a challenge.
yeah. I'll be there at 4:30, 5 tomorrow,
For,
Tuesday, next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Will you take
Hello?
$20?
Hello? Hello?
Are you still there? Do you want this?
Is this still available?
But it's definitely a good spot.
My favorite is when we sold the ESR wheels and the guy put them on the car in the parking lot to make sure they fit before he bought them. The dude drove 2.5 hours to buy wheels
Not
Understandable.
knowing if they fit.
and then dry fit them before he bought them. Like,
Yeah.
I laughed so hard.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
I was on the phone in the truck, right? I come out and these two are talking Spanish. I literally turned around and walked back into the truck. I'm like, I can't contribute anything.
Like, he's got this.
All I can do is nod my head. See.
Wow.
See you later.
I was like, yeah, but yeah, that was a fun experience for sure. But
Yeah.
that's just kind of part of it, right? You building cars and you got to move the stuff that you don't need anymore, and so it's a good forum for that for sure. It's certainly better than the old days.
I know.
I know the old.
Now you got to pay for Craigslist.
Yeah, now you got to pay for Craigslist.
Really?
Wow, isn't
Yeah.
it probably like $5?
Craigslist fell off.
Something like that.
People really
Yeah.
use Craigslist all that much
I
anymore?
think Marketplace took it over.
I
Yeah.
totally
Ironically,
forgot
I got
about
my Z
Craigslist.
on Craigslist.
The
though.
older
It was the
crowd,
only
right?
Z on
Yeah, older
Craigslist from
people.
Virginia
Yes.
to Maine.
Yeah.
I forgot all about Craigslist, honestly.
People who don't have
Yeah.
social media use Craigslist,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like 90% of the people nowadays.
But there
Yeah.
are some good stuff. Like there was
Hiding out. Yeah.
There was a guy in Vermont. It was a SR20. It was NA, but he wanted the six-speed transmission out of it for like $300. And that's like a $900.
I got my Z on Marketplace. It was the only one listed from Virginia to Maine.
Really?
10K, 50K miles.
Wow.
Wow.
You're like, I'll take it.
The only one on there. We
Sold.
drove 5.5 hours midwinter to Maine for it.
Yes. You know a deal when you know it, right?
That's it.
Yeah. I mean,
Gotta
sometimes
scoop it
you
up.
just come across stuff and you're just like, I gotta scoop it
Spent
now.
3 months looking on Marketplace, go to Craigslist once and find it.
The problem I have is something I want comes up every other day, and I'm like, all right, we now
I
have
have to stay off Marketplace, honestly.
now that we're getting the shop, I'm like, no more buying. We can't buy anything because
I
we
know.
need to buy everything that we need in the shop because. Besides, we have a lot of projects. We've got a really cool project that's been sitting over at the shop for what, a month and a half now, 2 months, that needs to be torn down and built, and we need Nils to be able to pull the body off of it and then make it work. So,
Yes, sir.
but yeah, so that's another cool thing. Yeah, it's gonna be a killer year, right? What do we got for travel going on?
We're still waiting for some dates to come out.
We are, but
Yeah.
we got Fuel Fest, right? We're gonna
We
do
do
Fuel
have
Fest,
Fuel Fest in
Irwindale.
2 locations.
Yeah.
Yep. New Jersey.
Are you trying to do Poconos again or no?
It all depends if he does it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we should because we should drive, right?
Yeah, that was honestly like probably.
Seemed like a lot of seat time there.
Yeah, it was a lot of seat time. Plus, that was the event that like actually like pushed me to like advance. Plus, that was my first event like out of state, other than like Lebanon,
Yeah.
but I don't really count that. But going to Poconos was like
Yeah.
that like just pushed me even further. And driving with
sick.
Ryan and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So what
until
I'd
I
like.
got yeeted by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. But still, I mean, it's one of those
It
things
was-
that's going to happen
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
that situation, right? I mean,
Cool that you still look back at it.
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
dude,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
literally like I think that was like my favorite time out of 2023,
Yeah.
other than Drift Nirvana.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, that was a good time.
The entry for that, I rode with Max in his Corvette. That was my first ride along that day. And I didn't know the course, so you come over that hump going into
Yep,
turn one,
yep,
and
yep.
it's completely blind. I was
Completely.
like, holy shit.
My first ride along was with Tony. He didn't know the course either, so it was both of us.
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, I was like,
Let's go. At least the entry was big, right?
Yeah.
So there was plenty of.
If you messed up, it was okay because it was super wide. It was like 3.
You're going in the grass.
Yeah. So that was
So
a wall.
this year, to the question that you're asking, is our goal is to go and set up the booth and have our paddock. So like we did, right? So
Yep.
we had you and Ryan, but now we'd have all of our cars plus the booth together. So now
Yep.
we've got the booth and our team together to go do both, right?
Yep.
We can promote the brand as well as go out and enjoy, driving and,
Yep.
and doing that kind of stuff. So to me, I think as much of that opportunity as possible that we can get is what we should be doing. So, I mean, I don't know. You look at the calendar, right? If we're gonna do 8 private days and we're gonna do Fuel Fest, LZ when it comes out.
they're still pretty spaced apart though. Honestly, everything is
Probably.
for major events. I feel like there's probably one a month.
Probably. You know, we've got the shop that we're going to move into in April, which means it's going to take a lot of work to get that.
To
I
get
mean, how long did it
everything
take you to get
there.
this place going? I mean, a couple
Yeah.
months, right?
I think it took us like 2-3 months.
Yeah.
The biggest thing was just like trying to break everything down. You got to
Yeah.
clean everything, and
Right.
then you got to paint it. Like
Yeah.
that's always the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because you need to do everything before you actually move stuff in. Because if you try to do it after, you're not gonna be able to.
I mean, the
do
only
it.
good thing for us is that he's gonna have it painted and stuff.
Yeah,
Only the
yeah,
murals
we're lucky
part,
because
that's the
the
added.
Oh,
landlord
okay.
is taking
So-
care of
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff. I mean, we're obviously gonna paint it the way we want it
Yep.
with some of the stuff, but the
Mm-hmm.
main, refurb, he's doing a lot of the refurb.
Oh, that's
so-
Yep.
good.
Yeah, so that part that'll help. But figure a month and a half minimum,
Yeah.
right? So you start thinking about what the amount of time it takes to do that. Well, the weekends is when we're going to need to do some of that, and that's right at the
Yeah, for
beginning
sure.
of the season. So, we got to think about all right, how many of those events. So that becomes a function of having multiple people on our team who can split up, right? We can send Kyle somewhere, we can send Dan and Pika somewhere, that kind of stuff. And
Kind of like how we ended 2023, right? You guys were out somewhere, and
SEMA.
I was at Fuel
We
Fest,
should definitely do SEMA again in 24. We
Yeah,
went
yeah,
as
yeah,
Ignition.
and then
Yeah.
you guys
Be
was it
major.
the
NPRI.
Ozarks? Is
NPRI.
when you guys went, and I did Staggered,
that's right, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we split for that one too.
Yeah,
I was with you
no,
for
Staggered was
Jay
when I was
was
racing in West
Virginia.
Virginia.
Oh, that's what it was.
The TogeCon was at the end of September.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then we were in Cali for one of them too.
right.
I think Cali is
That
when
was
I was
a-
doing Fuel Fest.
Yeah.
Fuel Fest.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, we've already kind of got that
Yep.
sort of figured, but we want to do more driving, of course.
Yeah,
to
for sure.
complement the content, right? The content
Yeah.
and is as much as we like the shows and we want to support our friends who host shows for sure. I mean, first question we want to ask is when's S Chassis meet, buddy?
I
Yeah.
know. Actually, I've been
Right?
getting a lot of.
Did you
I'm
see
sure.
the post
First
the other
off-
day that Wild Steve got?
Yeah. I was actually getting a bunch. I still can't believe. So I hosted S Chassis Me. I was like, okay, if we could get like 15, 20 people, that would be like
it was
pretty
70, right?
awesome.
It was wild.
Dude, it ended up being more than 70 plus S chassis alone. More than 100 people came. Like, wild. Like, we never
70
even had
running
that
S chassis
all at
at
once.
the same
The best
time.
is-
Same lot.
The
Yeah.
best is the
In
running
Connecticut.
part.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah, had some dude come out from, I think he was, I don't know if it was Rhode Island or like Jersey or something.
Wow.
He was like rolling his fenders and I was helping him out.
Was
I
it
was
the
like,
white one?
Damn. It was like white and red, I think. It was two-tone.
Yeah.
Because one of our buddies
Yeah, he
came from
came-
Rhode Island in his S14.
And yeah, it was just
I
such
remember
a
you,
good time.
yeah,
Oh,
not
man,
expecting
was-
that turnout.
nope.
They're all rolling
'Cause
in. I'm
even-
like, what do you want to do? You're
Yeah.
like, I don't know how you guys do this.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I was like, let us
even
help you.
like 10 plus years ago, like when I first went to one, I was like, man, there's a lot, but I would say maybe like 30, 40 when CIP in Milford. used
That's
to
still
have-
a good amount.
Oh, dude, it was
That's insane.
crazy. I've never even expected that.
They're hiding.
So you know,
Yeah,
so you
they're,
know,
hiding- they're out there.
Connecticut's
2024
underrated.
means 120.
Yeah.
Great, so
Yeah.
you're gonna
Think
need
about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
you're gonna need the
Bigger venue.
ignition team to help
Oh,
support
yeah,
your
big shout
event.
out. Yeah, you
yeah.
guys helped out big time. Yeah. It was nuts.
Well, we're all for it. You know that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. S chassis, everything. Let's go.
Yep.
Tony and I rocking the S chassis
Oh, yeah.
for sure. Not the R chassis guy over here. But, what are you gonna do?
RB Power.
Shots
Bobby
fired.
Power.
Same
Shout out Joe.
Same family.
Yeah, they all
That's
share
it.
the same parts.
Big
Same
shout,
family.
big
Do a
shout out
split
to big shout out to Cho, by the way. He is
Yeah, he's killer.
he's the dude. I got to hang out with him at SEMA and the boys for quite a while on when I was in SEMA, which was cool. I got to see him in his casual attire, which was cool.
Instead of his jumpsuit.
Instead of the jumpsuit.
like,
Yeah. Hey, I know that guy. I know that guy.
Get back in.
He's not in his stage outfit.
Yeah.
Should.
So yeah, I mean, 2024, big year, a lot of cool stuff. Solidifying a location, which is just gangster, absolutely gangster. It's just hard to believe that we're going in that direction already. 2 big collaborations, which we'll tell you about here 2 weeks, I'd say. We'll be ready to share that information. Big for us, brand new collections. If you could tell, some of us are already wearing.
We've been
some of
teasing
it.
a little bit here and there too.
Yeah.
What's that?
We've been teasing a little bit here and
Yeah,
there. I
a
think
little
we've teased
bit.
it twice
Yeah.
since the new year.
Yeah, that's a big collection. We've got some killer ambassadors helping to support the effort, and everyone's doing a little bit of teasing of it. So
It's a new function of 2024. Tony being one of them.
that's it. Let's go. Gonna help them keep growing that new car of his.
Oh yeah. We got big things coming. I'm so hyped.
Big
Oh, heck
things.
yeah.
Just got paid.
It's a big build.
Just got painted.
Big build. Yeah, we got to help him finance it. So,
Yep.
let's go. Every time you turn around, you're like, I need this, I need that.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like
so-
you do a $500 order, and then you're like, man, I needed this like 10-cent O-ring, and I'm like, oh, damn,
Yeah.
I got paid like $10 on this shit.
Yeah.
For,
Yeah. The shipping is always the biggest issue with that stuff, for sure. But in terms of sourcing, right? You've been able to source pretty much everything.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, thankfully, like the 1J uses a lot of NA 2J parts, so
Yeah.
that works.
That worked out too with DOD, right?
Oh,
Going down
yeah.
and picking up
Oh,
the
yeah.
motor down
Oh, that's
there.
right.
Literally, we went out to Drifters of Drift Nirvana, and then the day before, I went to Maryland. Shout out to Method Auto. I picked up a 1J. Went from there, drove an hour, dropped it off, and then drove back, and then got an Uber back. It was like so much, but I got a crazy deal on it. So
No,
was
it worked out. I mean,
Perfect.
it's so cool in that area because there's so much availability, to go to the port down there to where
Yep.
those guys are, then get to the track as easily as you could.
Yep.
Obviously made sure we got your car down there, and so that worked out perfect. And
Did.
super cool.
Big things to come, 24.
Yeah, hell yeah, we're stoked. We hope everybody's got a big year planned. We hope to see everybody at some of these events. We're gonna do some fun stuff, definitely.